Hello, so let's start solving this problem. Here, the subarray with sum 0. Here we have given an array and we have to find it out the subarray with sum is 0. If we found the sum is equal to 0, then we have to just return it true, or else we can return it false. Okay, so for this, let's take this example. Okay, you can see it here. This 4, 2, minus 3 and 1. If we add these three elements, then the sum will be 0, right? Else, in between the array, if we found any element is 0, then also we have to return it out. For this, I have created some visualization what kind of logic we have to apply. Let's take first the brute force approach. The first brute force approach is we can traverse both the for loop from 0 to n. The first for loop we will travel from 0 to n, and here the second for loop we will travel from ith index to last index, and while traversing we are just adding to the answer. If we found the answer equal to 0, then we have to just return it down true, else we have to return in false. For the brute force, as shown it here, if 4 2, if we add all these things, then the sum will be 10, 13. The sum will be 10, right? If we add all this in between, if we found the sum equal to 0, then we have to just return. Here you can see we found the sum equal to 0 for this. Okay, here we will take this example. This example, for using brute force, we can see the sum will be 4 2. The next time from one index, the sum will be 1, and for the last it is minus 1. So we have to write it down false, right? The brute force approach for this, if we understand the sum, the prefix sum, and the sliding window pattern, we will find it out the answer here. Okay. So for this, I have created visualization. Here I have taken this example, random example with 10 elements, and I have declared each element index as well as and the value. Here I have used this hash map to represent at particular index and the prefix sum of that index at that index. Okay, so I'm just storing all these things. Here you can see the first index, the sum is 0 4. Okay, so I have stored it in hash map, prefix sum and index. Okay, the next time I have stored this added to and stored it in the hash map. We have to store the sum, prefix sum, till this index. Okay, and I'm just adding to the hash map. Okay, the next time we have added 6, the sum will be 12, right? Again, if we add minus 3, the sum will be 9. Again we add 1, then sum will be 10. Okay, so here you can see we added 6 and the sum will be 16. Here at each index we have to add the sum at that particular index. Okay, the next time if you found the sum which is already present, as you can see the sum here for fifth index is 16, and if we add the sixth index the sum will be 12, right? So the this 12 is already present in the hash map. If it is already present, then what happen, the sum will be 0. Why the sum will be 0? As you can see, because of, if we traverse, let's take some other example. Yeah, let's take this example. Okay, if we add 4, okay, 4 plus 2 6, right? 6 is already present, and if again we found the 6 sum, then we found that there is 0 present in that. Okay, for this. just take assume the sum with 4, 6 and 6. Here you can see this 6 and 6 will represent one of the 6. There is 0 present in that array. Okay, like this way, if we think like the sum at till this point 12, till this index, okay, 12, and again we found till this index, like till sixth index we found 12 again. So if we found the same sum again, then we found that the sub array having sum equal to 0. You can calculate it here: minus 3, 1, minus 2, 4, then minus 4. This sum will be 0, right? So what we have to do here? We just have to store the prefix sum in the map function, and if we found already present the prefix sum, then we have to just return it down the answer that we found the sum equal to 0. Okay, here what I did, here I'm not storing the index, I'm just adding it to the answer only. Okay, you can see here I have declared the unordered map. I am using this for loop from 0 index to last index, and this is my prefix sum at each index, and I am storing it the prefix sum. Okay, here what I have just did, if we found the prefix sum already present in the map, then we have just written it down true, or else if you found the sum equal to 0, then also. Okay, here the time complexity for this of n.